Morning.
Morning, Eddie.
You must be looking forward to Eddie, eh? After a year, was it just over a year, something like that for AJ? He can't wait to go through them ropes, can he?
I know. It's we're in the bubble here, you know, this new sporting environment. We're in the Hilton Hotel in Wembley. It's really weird. You know, all the fighters are sort of mixing with each other, just trying to stay out of each other's ways. We nearly had a tear up on floor 7 last night on it's across social media with a couple of guys. Yeah, but we got fans.
And that was just you and Frank Warren.
Yeah, no, that would have been easy work. We got, you know, we've done testing after testing, and on Saturday, listen, the first things first, AJ gets back in the ring to defend his world heavyweight titles, but also fans will return for the first time in boxing. Only 1,000. We're used to 80,000 for AJ, but it's going to be great to see people back in the arena smiling again, and you know, hopefully AJ can do the business.
Will he? And there's talk of, just reading a few little articles, that he might bulk up a bit more, put a bit more weight on for this one against Pulev.
I don't think so. I mean, I think, you know, we've seen him bulk up in the past. Against Ruiz, he came in really light because he knew that he needed to move. For this fight, I think he's looking to do more damage. You know, I think he wants to go back to the wrecking ball machine that we know and love in Anthony Joshua. But Pulev's very good. You know, he's only lost once to Vladimir Klitschko. He was an excellent amateur. He's got a great jab. He's a #1 challenger. So it's going to be tricky for the first few rounds. And as always in AJ fights, I'm sure we're going to have some ups and downs. You know, a few hairy moments, but I think he's going to look really good, and I think you're going to see a devastating knockout.
Eddie, do you think the Ruiz fight, when he got knocked, when he lost, that was a wake-up call for him, saying, "Well, I've got to train that harder. I've got to be better in the ring," because no one expected that.
No, I think that one of the problems, and it has been a problem this week as well, is everyone was talking about him fighting Deontay Wilder at the time. You know, he rocked up into New York, and everyone was saying, "When are you going to fight Wilder? Is the fight going to happen?" And next thing you know, he got beat to Andy Ruiz. So obviously this week, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, just win against Pulev and the Fury fight's going to be happening in 2021." And he's just like, "Look, guys, please don't ask me about that. I've got to focus on Pulev because in this division, before you know it, everything can be over. One punch changes everything. And he's got to be switched on tomorrow night because we know what could potentially lie ahead."
Eddie, just looking at AJ and the way that he fought that second fight against Andy Ruiz, I thought it was punch perfect. He didn't really tag him at all. He looked after his own well-being. And with all the talk about concussion and all this, would you not think that Rob McCracken, yourself and AJ would want to have that game plan pretty much for the rest of his career? Because he's got it in the locker to be agile, to keep that distance control and not to get tagged.
Yeah, I think you've got to do what you feel comfortable with. And AJ is not, you know, one of those guys that likes to box and move for 12 rounds and stay out of trouble and not try and finish his opponent. Like I said, he's a wrecking ball. He likes to go in. He loves to knock people out. He's fast. He's strong. He punches very, very hard. So that's him, and he'll never change. I just think what the Ruiz fight showed him was sometimes you got to be a little bit smarter. You know, you got to box a little bit. You got to break people down. But even against Andy Ruiz, every time he would hurt him in the fight, I would be screaming. Rob McCracken would be screaming, "No, you know, stay away. Just get through these 12 rounds." And it was hard for him. You know, after the fight, he said to me, "Oh, was that a bit boring?" I said, No, mate, it was perfect." He said, "I just wanted to knock him out." So I think tomorrow night, you will see a little bit of boxing, but when he hurts him, he'll be as dangerous as ever, and he'll be looking to go in there and finish the job. So I just think he's going to become more mature in his performances, but you should never take away some of the qualities of AJ, which is his speed, his ferocity, his power, and his ability to finish you when you're hurt.
Yeah, Eddie, I must ask you, what did you make of the Dubois Joyce fight? Does Joe come into anywhere in the future for either AJ or Fury?
Yeah,
do you think?
Joe's really good. I mean, Joe's
boxed
now
really well.
He's in his mid-30s. You know, he's ready to fight anybody. Obviously, Dubois was, you know, hailed as the new coming of the heavyweight division, and everyone put all their eggs into one basket with him. And you know, he came up short. He'll come again. You know, he was just a heavyweight, and he just showed that on the night he didn't have it in him, and he wasn't good enough. And that's okay in sport. You can come back and you can learn. But I don't think Joe Joyce is getting any credit really, because I think when people watch Joe Joyce, they don't see this, you know, super fast, talented heavyweight. But what he is, he's really good and strong and tough. He has a great chin. And he's going to be a problem for everyone. So we should be congratulating Joe Joyce on that victory rather than talking about why Daniel Dubois isn't the real deal. And Dubois will come again because he's a good young fighter.
Eddie, looking around the ringside, he's going to be interesting to see who's there. He's lucky enough to get one of the tickets, but one person who's got to be there, keeping an eye on the fight, is Tyson Fury. Is he going to be at the fight?
I hope so. I mean, we sort of invited him a little bit. I think there's always, Ray, this little bit of ego. You know, AJ don't come to my fight, so I'm not going to his fight. It's like, guys, come on, we want to make a fight together. But there's a lot going on behind the scenes to try and make that fight. And really, you know, AJ's the boss. So until he signs off on anything, nothing's done. And I'm certainly not going to be going to him this week talking about the Tyson Fury fight. But if he's triumphant on Saturday night, I believe you're going to see Fury AJ move really quick. And we'll be doing everything we can to basically get that fight up and announced as soon as possible, because the governing bodies will be like hawks. You know, you've got to fight Usyk now. You've got to fight. We want to say to the governing bodies, look, we have an agreement for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Please allow this fight. It's a historic fight. It's the biggest fight in boxing. It's one of the biggest fights in all-time boxing history. So if we can get through on Saturday, we'll be looking to move very quickly on Fury against Joshua and get it up and running, get it announced.
Eddie, not too quick, because we need 80,000 people watching.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the other problem now, you know, and we'll see. That's why this week's so important for us, even with 1,000. You know, it's logistically been very difficult, but we have to make sure we get it right. We can't give the government or DCMS any excuse to say, no, that doesn't work. You know, we're stopping that. We need to be going 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 20,000, 80,000. And obviously the vaccine will play a big role in that as well. So it's great to see people back at live sport events, and hopefully that continues and the numbers continue to grow.
I'm just gutted it's not in your back garden again, Eddie.
I know, we love that, mate. We love that. But their grass has only just recovered now, and it's a bit chilly at the moment, so I don't know. I don't think it'll work.
Eddie, we look forward to it. Thanks, pal. Thank
Cheers,
you.
guys.